Welcome back to Northwest Reports. Live in the Northwest for a time and you hear about rescues. Climbers trapped on Cascade Mountains, boats capsized on the ocean, hikers lost in the woods. When folks get into trouble, Northwesterners get out and help. But those people never face bombs, bullets, and mines. Tonight, Northwest Reports chief photographer Gordon Coffin tells the stories of two families who do face those dangers. Gordon traveled to the war zone of northern Iraq and met two Northwest families who save lives by putting their own lives in harm's way.
How'd you sleep, babe? Fine. Did you wake up in the middle of the night at all?
Bob Blinko graduated from the University of Oregon with a degree in history.
Sliced peaches.
Emily Blinko is 10 years old, very precocious. She has unbelievable eyes. She has Jodie Foster's eyes.
Can you taste any of the root beer part? You're doing all right there, huh?
Keith Blinko is a wonderful little boy, filled with enthusiasm and energy and a wonderful sense of innocence.
Heidi!
Heidi is the oldest of the Blinko children. She's 13 and very shy.
It's nice having breakfast on Father's Day.
Uh-huh.
Jan Blinko is from the Northwest. She's from Mount Vernon, Washington, and she got her nursing degree from Seattle Pacific University.
Fathers, too.
Yeah, that's what fathers do.
They're an average Northwest family.
Shorts. First day of summer.
T-shirt.
First day of summer.
I know.
Longest day of the year.
But they live in Iraq. The Blinkos live in Zakho, Iraq, which is just across the border from Turkey in northern Iraq, just a couple of 100 miles from Saddam Hussein.
He's eating his root beer.
Yeah, he's eating his root beer. And
Saved.
been there 2 weeks. And now it's very cold. Last root beer in Iraq.
Bob loves the Kurds.
The Kurds have 15 million people. It's the fourth largest people group in the Middle East. They have no country. They have no flag. They have no one to speak for them. No powers to speak for them. They were promised a homeland by a treaty that was never honored.
Saddam hates the Kurds. Saddam Hussein would like to exterminate the Kurds.
Here is a chance to throw off a fascist regime, the Iraqi government, and to have a breathing space.
We fought at the valley of Zakho for 1 day with my friends, Peshmerga. We cannot resist tanks and missiles and aircrafts.
Bob works with local veterinarians, many of whom homes were destroyed and fought in the rebellion against Saddam Hussein.
He tried to occupy our cities, and he succeeded to occupy Zakho city, where I was there. I was in Zakho at that time.
After the uprising, the Kurds went to the mountains. The government reasserted control and made an example out of this neighborhood.
Bill Coops and his wife Teresa live in Dahuk, which is about 100 kilometers from Zakho. They are the only Americans that live in that city.
The army came and blew it all up with dynamite, and apparently was planning to do the rest of the neighborhoods for the next mile if the Kurds didn't come back from the mountains or something like that.
And so if there's nothing here, it means you're out of that medicine.
Yes.
You have nothing there.
Human medicine is extremely hard to come by. Those supplies have been almost totally cut off.
If you take the surgeon, you have 2 surgeons only.
2 surgeons?
2 surgeons only, yes. And 3 gynecologists and obstetricians. 1 ophthalmologist we have.
Bob pretty much characterizes his role there as assessing the needs of the Kurds, finding out what they need, and then finding ways to get it for them.
We purchase our medicines in places that we're not quite free to tell about.
On Father's Day of this year, 1992, Bob Blinko and myself traveled out of the security zone in northern Iraq to the city of Mosul to pick up badly needed veterinary supplies, which were smuggled north from Baghdad. They were purchased on the black market in Baghdad, smuggled north to a safe house in Mosul, where we picked them up.
We are all participating in getting goods across a river at night and things like this, because there are nasty people who don't want the Kurds to survive. They don't want this little experiment to survive.
To get out of the security zone, we needed to go through 3 Iraqi checkpoints to get to Mosul and 3 Iraqi checkpoints to get back out of Mosul. A line of tanks and artillery pieces all pointed north toward Kurdistan.
We got 5 boxes like this. It's full of foot and mouth disease vaccines and probably $15,000 worth in the American market.
Bob sees clear evidence every day that the sanctions against Iraq are not working.
So what we see here is this rolling pipeline of 10-ton trucks, which every day enters Iraq by the hundreds and leaves by the hundreds, carrying nothing out of the country, not any cargo at all, except for the one precious thing which so much of the world wants, which is oil. And everybody wins. The Iraqi government wins because goods and supplies come in, cement and medicines and food and sugar and tea and we're afraid to say also some of the items that are banned in the embargo. The stuff in this humble little store is all imported, legally or illegally, from Iran. This soap and Turkey, cigarettes.
We were some of the only foreigners here for the first bit of time as families were coming back into their homes.
Teresa Coops was born in Hood River, Oregon. Her baby son, Justin, was born in Dahuk, Iraq.
It's really a nice place to raise children. It's a real simple life. There aren't very many choices. And so because it's simple, the children have a lot of freedom and have a lot of freedom to make friends.
We keep a tent here and some water supplies, things to prepare if Saddam should attack the Kurds.
It's gone crazy. We are aware that our children have special needs, so far from the touch of grandparents and cousins and friends in school in the United States. So we are trying to spend extra time with Heidi and Emily and Keith, with contact and touch and games. When I come home, I have a consciousness that now it's time to spend time with the kids and the family in order to try and fill up their emotional tank.
Hey, this is a huge one. Look at this one.
Sunday morning, and I'm crossing the Iraqi border into Turkey to visit refugees who have been in a camp for more than a year, living in a tent situation through freezing winter and burning blazing sun of the summer. And Sunday morning, this priest with me, he crosses the border and says, worship service for the people.
A Kurdish wedding lasts for 3 days. Most unusual thing you would see at a Kurdish wedding is the ever-present Peshmerga guards with their rifles at the ready.
You'll come back, right? They always are saying, you'll come back. Is that right? Yes, that's right. Because they think and they believe without a doubt that if the foreigners leave, if we leave, their lives are over. There's nothing to keep Saddam from coming back.
We are to them their safety. They look at us as long as we are here, they are safe. We are, in a sense, a shield. In order for Saddam to come here, he has to kill at least 200 foreigners.
It's very dangerous for the Kurds. It would be much more dangerous if we were not here and if the Americans were not here, because then The man in Baghdad who's grinding his teeth and drumming his fingers on a walnut desk would come up here with his troops and he would blow these people away.
The Blinkos have come back to the United States for medical checkups and to visit some family and friends. They go back to northern Iraq to help the Kurds in November.